I feel like I'm Robin Hood every day, right? I don't want to say robbing from the rich, but plundering these insurance companies that are siphoning premiums out of us all day, that are unwilling to give it to folks when they are contractually obligated to, and getting that and giving it to the people that really deserve it. It's a great feeling.
Welcome back to our podcast. Today we have Chris Campione with Campione Law. Chris, how are you doing today?
Very good. It's very good to be here. Thank you for having me on today.
Yes, of course. Thank you for being a guest. So, Chris, I've known you since probably 2019. So it's been a good amount of years, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like I know you pretty well, but there's still a lot of things that I don't know about you. And for the listeners who are watching, I feel like this is a great way to dive in. So I wanted to start off talking about you.
Okay.
So can you kind of walk me through the moment you realized you want to become an attorney?
Yes. So I had a very unorthodox journey to become an attorney. Now, I grew up in a house, a two, well, mom here, father here, divorced house,
Yeah.
but they were both attorneys. And I remember looking at my father, who came home at 9 to 10 o'clock every night and had a limited amount of time. Now, I love my father, and the time we did have was wonderful, but I looked at him coming home at those hours and said, I never want to do that. Now, my mom, on the other hand, steered out of the law into politics somewhere along the road. And I also said I never wanted to do that either. So for the longest time, I was thinking it would be a miserable profession to be an attorney. Now, I haven't necessarily changed my opinion on that, but um, I used to be married, and the girl that I was married to wanted to go to law school, and I had nothing better going on at the time. So I said, okay, like, I know that business interests me. It's any kind of business, right? Everything's
hmm
kind of, similar at the end of the day. Having a law degree would not be a bad thing to have in the tool bag. So I go to law school. I actually end up doing pretty well. I get to my second year and I start clerking for a small solo practitioner. And I had an interest in real estate before that, and personal injury reminded me somewhat of real estate. A lot of it is kind of getting out there and
Yeah.
making personal connections that will hopefully lead to clients, people to trust you to handle their, kind of needs in their most sensitive times. And it reminded me a lot of that. And I ended up figuring out I kind of had a knack for it. So when I graduated from law school, I was planning to work for the solo practitioner that I had been working for at the time. And unfortunately sprung it on me right after I graduated and passed the bar that no, he was not going to step out and, take a chance on me. And he
My
said, hey, you might want to
gosh.
just start your own firm. So I said, yeah, I licked my wounds for about 10 minutes and I said, okay, let's do that. So I ended up renting a windowless office in a small crowded office complex,
Was
planted
this
my
in
own.
Jacksonville?
This was in Jacksonville, over there on University
Okay.
Boulevard.
Okay.
So I planted my flag, and sure enough, about 6 months later, I had my first intern. A year later, I had my first employee, and then everything is kind of compounded, from there. But it really just it stemmed, from doing good work for folks, and it kind of has snowballed from there. But I've found a love for it over the years that I didn't necessarily have when I first started doing it.
And this clerk that you worked for, was it personal injury?
Yes, yes, he's
Okay.
still a small solo practitioner here in town. Mhm.
That's cool though to see, where you started and where you're at today. That's
Yeah,
gotta be rewarding for him, right?
I remind him of that quite often.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you
Every time I
do.
see him, I say, "Hey, buddy."
And I
But
was gonna say too,
everything happens for a reason. Like, if he
yeah,
would have said, "Hey, Chris, yeah, I'll hire you. I'll take you for this," I probably wouldn't
you wouldn't
be
have been where
here.
you're at today.
Yep. So, I'm
Yeah.
thankful.
No, I love to hear that too. And the fact that, because I was gonna ask why personal injury, but obviously it seems like that wave was kind of paved for you. Now, was your dad, I know your mom was more on the politics side,
Hmm.
but was your dad in the personal injury side or
Bankruptcy. So this was far, and I have a couple. Uncles that are lawyers too, and they do mostly title work. Now, a couple years ago, we started a title company, so I did fall into that a little bit, but
Oh,
that's
that's
kind of a
cool.
that's a
Yeah.
side project for me. The personal injury was way outside of anything anybody in the family had ever done, but it's like I love it because I feel like I'm Robin Hood every day, right? I'm I don't want to say robbing from the rich, but plundering these insurance companies that are
Yeah.
siphoning premiums out of us all day, that are unwilling to give it to folks when they are contractually obligated to, and getting that and giving it to the people that really deserve it. It's a great feeling.
I feel like you now need a costume. I feel like that would be amazing, especially for a podcast. We just need to come up with a name, something that'll go with Campione.
Robin
I
Chris.
can't. Something along those lines.
Yes.
Um, and then so when I guess I was gonna say too, when did you know that you were gonna start your firm? But it goes back to this guy too, I think just not wanting to, I think he saw the potential in you as well to start,
Yeah. Well, and
have
it's
those
like
wings.
when I do things, I do them like at 100 miles an hour, full force,
That's
and
your
that
personality.
can be intimidating for some folks, and
Yeah,
I
but
get
it's like
that.
and when you know what you want, you know what you want. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? And I feel like that's great because you have drive too. Now, the first office, are we talking about the one where I first met you, the one that was off of Emerson?
So that was my second office.
Wait, really? Where? Okay, so the first one was off of University, and where
Mhm.
else?
That was my first one off of University. It was a small windowless office, and then I think I had by the time I had probably like 3 or 4 staff members when I was in that office eventually, and then we outgrew that. We moved into Emerson. It was a 2-story building. I had the second floor. We grew out of that within a year, had to take over the first floor, and then after that, I'm looking up going like, I'm sticking people in hallways, and it was an old bank building, so there's actually
I was
somebody
gonna
working
say,
in the safe.
yes.
Um,
I
you know
remember that too, of being like, "Yeah, they're in the back safe area," and I was like, "What do you mean?" But I mean, listen, I think there was like 1 or 2 people in that back spot too, so
Yeah,
no kidding as far as like
yeah.
how many
I
people
think
you had in that
there's 3.
building.
There's 3. There's like a little cuddy corner and then the safe. There's 1 person in the safe and 2 people right in that cuddy corner hallway there.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, listen, you gotta do what you gotta do at the end of the
Yep.
day. But I remember being in that office too, and you're like, "Hey, we've got a new spot that we're moving into." And I was like, "Didn't you guys just like move upstairs and downstairs?" But what a good problem to have. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? What is
I
that building now?
I sold it to a friend of mine. It's, ASAP
Okay,
Plumbing. So it's
got it.
where he keeps
That's a
his
free
company
shout out
headquarters.
right there.
Yeah, there you go. Larry Ding.
That's amazing. Um, okay, so that's fun, like, to learn a little bit more about you and how you got to,
Yeah, now we're
making Campione
21
Law.
attorneys, I think. We have staffed offices in Jacksonville, St. Augustine, Orlando, Miami, Las Vegas.
I didn't hear about the Las Vegas one.
Yeah, and we're opening up a Huntington Beach office too. So the attorney that's managing our Las Vegas office is also gonna be opening up the Huntington Beach office.
No way.
And there's one more. Oh, and Savannah. We opened, up our Savannah office at the beginning of the
Oh,
year.
okay.
We're almost done. We're within a week away from having our building completely renovated. Old school plantation building right downtown
Oh,
in
gorgeous.
Savannah next
Savannah.
to
How did you guys come about Las Vegas and Huntington Beach? Like, where did that come
Yeah.
from?
So a lot of things, I mean, when it comes to kind of expanding, I think the reach, you don't wanna do it for the sake of doing it, right?
Yeah.
You wanna do it because you've got a good product and you wanna bring that to the market, and I feel like we do, but a big driver of that is having the right people that can carry that brand and bring that experience out. And a good friend of mine from law school, had approached me about potentially wanting to do something like that. So we seized upon the opportunity, and we've been working on it for about the last year now. We launched the Las Vegas office in January, and that's been going great. And now we launched the Huntington Beach office on July 1st. So I think next week. And then we got a big marketing push planned for July out there. So hopefully
I was gonna say, when's this grand opening happen? Are we doing a huge party or what?
yes, right. I try not to make too many trips to Vegas because I'll have trouble working if I go out
Without a
there.
doubt. This also goes back to like, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it right.
Yep.
So just, not even just Jacksonville, just opening up everything that you guys, can basically cater to for personal injury patients. That's great that it's not just here in
Mhm.
Florida and you're opening it up elsewhere.
Yep.
But I know that you guys obviously do more than just personal injury. So did you want to kind of share the other practice areas that you guys also take care of?
Yes. So we have a budding medical malpractice division, 2 dedicated medical malpractice attorneys that are, in my opinion, some of the best in the state. We've got a VA and workers' comp disability team as well, that's led by Jason Silva. They do a great job. Then we have a first-party division that's led by my cousin Frank Campione that focuses primarily on residential, commercial, roof, fire, and flood claims.
Okay.
And then we've got another division of the law that focuses on non-PI civil litigation. So a lot of business litigation, real estate litigation, things of that nature.
Okay, so we got a full group here. It's like a whole family.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're Italian too, so it's just like the bigger the better.
Uh-huh. We got as many family members as possible. Campione.
Campione. No, I love that so much. And so with you guys being in Jacksonville too, I know that you do a lot here in town. I know when Integrity's had like a sponsorship and stuff like that with the Iceman, I know that, your name is on it. So
Yeah.
do you want to talk to us a little bit more about what you do in the community?
Absolutely, and you guys have been great. Integrity has been in, helping kind of sponsor some of the initiatives that we do.
Yeah.
One of the big ones that we do to raise cash for the charity that I have, the first initiative, is a golf tournament every year. And you guys have been great sponsors of that in the past, so I appreciate that.
Of course. Just can't wait for this year too.
Yes. So, one of the big things we do is we try to do some fundraising, and I obviously make a lot of personal donations as well. And our
Yeah.
two biggest things that we do is on Thanksgiving. Last year, I think we gave away, almost 1,200 turkeys, something like that, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's about like $14,000 worth of turkeys. So
What do you mean that doesn't sound like a lot? That sounds like that's a lot of turkey.
that is a lot of turkey. And it's,
That's a lot of turkey.
my favorite thing about it, like the way we do it, I love how we do it because we partnered up with another local guy that focuses on the homeless shelters, right? So they bring turkeys to the homeless shelters, then they help prepare them for them to make sure that folks at the homeless shelters have a good Thanksgiving meal. And to me, that's very important. But then you're also missing like that kind of that working class section that just doesn't have enough money to potentially buy a turkey. They're not homeless
Yeah.
by any means,
Yeah.
right? But do they have the disposable income to spend $60, $80 on a
Yeah.
turkey? No, they don't. So then
Yeah.
we also do a turkey giveaway to folks like that. No questions asked, drive-through style. And then we also gave away a good bit of turkeys to first responders, firefighters, police, etc.
Aw.
So that was fantastic, and it rolled out great this last year. Now for the last 6 years, one of my kind of pet project is what we do on Christmas, the toy giveaway we do on Christmas.
Mhm.
And
I remember seeing pictures of that. Maybe it was last year or the year before that. I mean, it was your whole office, like downstairs, that was just full of gifts. And what a joy
it's
that is, I know.
and the fun part about and why it's different than other charities is like a lot of charities will like, I don't want to like throw anybody under the bus here, but like
Yeah.
Toys for Tots and whatnot, like
Yeah.
you give toys, you put them in a box, and then somebody comes and picks up that box and
Yeah.
who knows where they go. I'm sure they go to the kids, but it's like, are they kids in your community? Are they, where you don't know, right?
Yeah.
Cool part about this is like the way we do it is on a couple days before Christmas, I'll dress up like Santa Claus and we'll get a big Santa Claus chair and I'll go sit out there as Santa Claus. And we have like a 2.5, 3 hour period where if you come by with a kid, you can get 2 toys. And they're not crappy toys. I mean, there's
Yeah.
bicycles,
No, I've seen them.
Nintendo
I can attest to
DSs,
that. Yeah.
yes. I mean, it's like stuff like people actually want. But the joy not only that you see in some of these kids, there's been some very touching stories that have kind of evolved from
I'm
this, and
sure.
relationships that have evolved from this. But one of the most satisfying things is some of the parents, right? They get to be there, be a part of the giving, even though, they're not the ones that are actually doing it, but they're there. They can feel like they're doing it. The kid is associating it with the parent, and they're able to provide that
Hmm.
experience for the child that the child would not otherwise get. And these are kids, ranging from probably, honestly, babies, but
Mhm.
1, 2, 3 years old, all the way up to 16, 17-year-old kids, because we kind of
Yeah.
have it across the board. And a lot of folks in that circumstance, they're big families, right? So there'll be 6, 7, 8 kids, right? From one family. And, it's
Yeah.
to be able to take care of them it's a very special thing for me. And to be able to do it like right here in the community and get to see
Yeah.
the folks that we're giving it to, getting to see the people that are getting to enjoy it, it's incredibly special to me.
And we did one. So we do one every year with the Daniel. It's the Daniel kids. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
heard of it, but it's
Yeah.
like local to Jacksonville.
Mhm.
And so we always set ours up in the lobby, and everyone here pitches in, and we have some patients that will pitch in and stuff like that too. And I will never forget And obviously, I know it's all still for a good cause, regardless. But I remember seeing our box and the gifts that we had, and then it was like on your or was it? I don't know if it was Instagram or LinkedIn. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow, he really blew that out of the water. But it's so special, like you said, because I mean, we don't get to see the kids, getting these toys that we're passing along to the Daniel kids. I know that they organize
Mhm.
that. So it's really awesome that you're actually getting to witness this and, with the parents and the children and stuff like that. So that's awesome. And for the turkey, going back to that, when you guys are starting to plan that out, let us know
Absolutely.
because I want us to be able to donate some stuff too. I know that
That would
I
be
know that we
awesome.
would all want to pitch in for that
That would be awesome. Yeah,
too.
because I mean, there's no shortage of people that need them, and they need it
No,
right here in Jacksonville.
that
Mhm.
part, I know. So I know you do the turkey giveaways, the toy giveaways. Now, I know earlier you were talking about how you do have an attorney in there that's with VA,
Mhm.
working with the VA. So I know that you guys do a lot for VA. Do you want to talk about that as well and
Sure.
why you guys wanted to proceed with that?
Yeah, so I mean, that's a passion of mine as well, and probably about 2, 3 years ago, I noticed that there was kind of this hole in the market, right? You have folks, out there that will charge people contingency of what they're able to recover from veterans benefits and things like that. There wasn't a ton of folks in the legal industry that were focusing on it. Yet there's a huge market for folks that needed help, right? So we
Mhm.
initially started a division of Campione Law that focused on helping veterans appeal their benefit decisions if they didn't get good decisions. And that has since translated to us opening up a sister company called VA Champions that helps people that haven't applied yet to be able to apply utilizing AI technology to essentially handle their claims from start to finish so that you're kind of taking it because historically, right, you could either hire like a claim shark, you could try to do it yourself, or you could go to like the VSO or USO, sorry. I always mix that up in my head. But basically the free service that the VA provides, right? Now, and that's fine, but they're checking boxes, it's slow, it takes a while, right? The claim sharks, the folks that are charging a contingency of what they collect, that's a big chunk of money at the end of the day
Yeah.
because veterans are entitled to a lot of money if if their injuries are related to their service.
Yeah.
So kind of finding that middle ground and being able to help people on both ends of the spectrum was very important for me and one of the things that I love to champion that we do here.
And obviously, Jacksonville is a huge military town,
Yeah.
right? Like my parents grew up in Ocala, and then whenever my dad enlisted into the Navy, they moved here to, work at NAS Jax. And so I'm, being like a military kid, like I can see that, but I also see from the VA side how hard it can be, like pulling teeth for certain things. So it's really nice knowing that, you know, they've got someone that they can lean on for these issues and
Yep.
knowing that, they're going to be taken care of.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like an attorney can't actually help with the initial filing. The only thing we can handle is
Yeah.
the appeals. That's why we started the company called VA Champions. That's
Gotcha.
separate from the law firm. And the kind of what I was talking about, the technology we developed, it's an app, but there's a web version as well, and it can literally, for a small fee, process your entire claim from start to finish. And there's nothing else that I know that's currently out there right now that can do it. And it does it, and we do it for like a fraction of what anybody else anywhere close to related to the space does it for. So, I mean, to me, it's almost it's pretty gosh darn close to charity.
That oh, well, I mean, that's amazing in itself, but also the aspect of AI with that
Yeah.
too, is still that's mind-blowing to me how freaking cool that is.
It literally, I mean, not I mean, the AI basically it can actually pull the medical records for the client, right? Actually takes it in, builds it into a Nexus letter, puts the whole entire package together, and then essentially all the, veteran has to do at that point is print it off and mail it in. It tracks I mean, it's impressive. I'm very, very excited.
Holy cow.
We just launched it last night, and we've had
Oh my gosh.
so I came back in this morning. I think right now we had like over 500 views. We had a half dozen users already in like a period of 8 hours. Like this is great. So I'm
Well, are
hopefully the
y'all
word gets out
sponsoring
even
that?
more and more. What's that?
Well, I would think so. How are you guys like sponsoring that as far as like getting it out there?
So right now we've kind of just put it out on social media, and we've got a
Okay.
couple influencers that we've partnered with that are kind of bigger in the veteran space that are
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of championing the brand as well. So we're going to see kind of how that works over the next couple weeks and teeter and tinker from there on the rollout strategy.
I think that's cool. And I might have to talk to my dad about that. So I might be texting you
Yeah,
later to kind of get a little bit more information with that.
absolutely. Happy to help.
Yeah. So to kind of continue, but then start to kind of closing out a little bit. Um, I know I've seen just from our patients, some of the patients that we've had who has had Campione Law, as their attorney. I've seen the care that they get. And
Thank you.
obviously we've all seen your commercials where it's like you could tell the compassion that comes from it, and I can tell the viewers that are watching that is 100% legit and how you
Thank you.
guys work. I know a lot of your clients have your cell phone numbers and you are dealing with them, directly, and it's not kind of hearsay or put on the back burner. Like you guys are really putting it all in that. And so why is building a relationship with your client such a priority to you?
Yes, I am like very intentional on who I let work here because
Mm,
from the top down, like I expect my attorneys that are working here to be able to provide a certain level of service. And
yeah.
that level of service comes with a personal aspect too of having that relationship, um, with the client. Um, I just went into a monologue and I forgot what the actual question was. It started off so well. Remind me again, Mackenzie, what was the
You know what?
actual question?
I'm so glad that I'm not the only person that happens to. No, so the question is why is building a relationship with your client such a priority?
Yes. So that's where I was starting with the foundation of why I find that so important as well. But if you don't have that relationship with your client, you're never going to give them the actual stage to be able to convey what their one, what their problems are medically,
Yeah,
two, how it's affecting their life, right? And if you can't figure that out, you really can't figure out the pain and suffering. If you don't care to figure out the pain and suffering, or you don't know what the pain and suffering is, how are you ever going to empathize with that client, right? And if you don't have empathy for the client, how are you going to adequately represent them? You
yeah,
cannot tell their story if you've never heard their story, right? You can
yeah.
get
That's so
medical
true.
records, you can talk about herniations, you can talk about surgeries, but you're not gonna be able to give it the color to bring it to life. And if you're a firm that's kind of focused more on the litigation as to the
Yes,
churning of the pre-suit cases,
yes,
you gotta have that color to be able to adequately represent folks because you can't tell the
yeah.
story without the color.
Yeah, no, and that's so true. And I feel like you guys are pretty good as far as like, explaining processes and, essentially how to get them the best outcomes as possible. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Now speaking of best outcomes, I'm sure there's a ton, but maybe on the top of your head, if you can tell me,
Yeah.
what is the best settlement that you think that you have gotten when, obviously insurance company has like lowballed and the mess out of you guys? Like,
Mhm.
what is the biggest like cost difference where they've like given you this number and you're like, yeah, no. And then it's been like this number.
So I mean, I got a couple buckets, right?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
there's one bucket, the ones that, I think the ones I get the most satisfaction out of are the ones where an attorney's fired a client, especially when they fire the client right there at the end when they're deep in litigation because they said the case was worth nothing or they tried to tell them
Yes.
they needed to take some minimal settlement, and we take over the case, either try the case or push it a little bit further and settle it, and we get 10, 20, 30x whatever it was that they told them was impossible. And we've done that with some of the biggest name law firms around town.
Oh, yeah.
You would certainly know. Like, I
Yes.
personally get the most satisfaction out of those. Now, we had a case, last year that we ended up trying. We got a $3 million verdict, 3 million and some change dollar verdict, and the highest offer before trial was $85,000. That was an awesome one. So that was about
Whoa.
35x-ish, somewhere in that ballpark. Um, we had a case last month that Seth was handling that another attorney had dropped the case because he had told the client it wasn't worth any money. We picked up the case, and within 30 days, we settled it for $275,000. I mean, like, believe it or not, that happens like all the time. It's hard to
I'm
to
sure.
pinpoint them.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's another one we picked up recently. This is about 6 months ago. Client was dropped by one of the most prestigious law firms in town after mediation, had a month before trial. We were probably the 30th attorney she had called. Nobody wanted to take the case because it was so close to trial. We agreed to take the case, showed up at the pretrial the next day. The defense attorney was expecting to go in there with a pro se litigant
Yeah, yeah.
and be able to run right over him. And then when we walked in there, they were expecting us to ask for a continuance. And we're like, no, we don't need a continuance.
Yeah,
We're
no,
ready to
yeah.
go. And they had been asleep at the wheel because they thought they were going to go up against a pro se litigant. They ended up paying us double what the policy limits were on the case to settle the case. When
My gosh.
they weren't even offering a fraction of the policy limits before, just because they knew that there was folks that were actually willing to take it,
Yeah, of
take it.
course.
So it's like those are the fun ones for me.
No, but it's just insane too, just to see, what they've offered first and then what you guys can end up settling for, obviously, with, your firm. But it also goes back to, some of these people, I think, in the very beginning when they're like, should I get a personal injury attorney? If they were hit, they're
Mhm.
like, oh, it's fine. Like my insurance will just pay me out. But they don't understand, you know what I mean? The
No.
process. And I really wish that people were more, educated in that. But I feel like it's always sometimes too late before.
Well, yeah.
Um,
Well, in
you know what I
most of the
mean?
time in most of the time, injuries aren't like acute injuries, Most of the time, you're not snapping your arm in an auto
Yeah.
accident, right?
Yeah.
Most of the
Yeah.
time, it's stuff that's underneath the skin that you can't really see. It evolves over time, right? So, one of the insurance company's best, favorite tactics is having these rapid response teams that will reach out to folks a day after the accident, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and try to get them to settle for 4, 5, 6, 7,000 bucks.
Yeah.
And people
Yeah.
think it's great, like, oh, it's $7,000. That's awesome.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
knowing that there's $1 million in coverage and that in, 60 days from now, they're hardly going to be able to walk because their back's seized up, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Well,
So it's
especially
like,
if they're calling like 2 days after. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Sometimes like you're not fully feeling, the wrath of everything after a car
I
accident
I
from
tell
that
people it
too.
takes
So
in my experience, it takes 3 days before you truly feel the full extent
yes.
of the initial injury.
Yeah. No, I can still feel that. It's funny. I don't even know if you knew this. So Blake actually used to work for Allstate a
Okay.
long, long, long time ago.
And you still married
And I still
him.
married him. So it's crazy to be like, obviously he's not doing that anymore. But
Mhm.
I remember before I was doing this job, I did get in a small accident. And it was like a few days after he's like, are you sure you're okay? Are you sure you're okay? And the first few days I was totally fine. And I think it was like by day 4, I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna get checked out. I think I'm gonna get checked out. But
Yeah.
but it's true, you know what I mean? Because these insurance companies kind of know. But I think everyone's like, but they're my insurance
Yeah.
company. Like they're gonna do what's best for me. And I wish more people would, know that's probably great just to even if it's just to be, checked out for you guys to make sure they're taking the precautionary measures. You know what I mean?
Yes, and I think, like, to bring it down to the average person out there, just, like, think of when you go to the gym and you work out really hard. You might be a little tired that day, but you're not really feeling the full bit of that work,
Yeah.
that recovery until a couple days later. Same thing with
No,
an
it's
auto
true. It's
accident.
the same thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
too. All right, Chris. Well, to close us out, my last question for you is try not to space out. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Is obviously you guys are growing so much right now, right? But where would you, if you could paint a perfect picture, where would you like to see Campione Law in 5 years?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So we've got some incredibly exciting stuff that we're working on, and there are the horizon that I'm seeing now for the firm is a hundredfold what I would have told you a year and a half, 2 years ago. With the evolving technology,
Hmm.
the industry evolving as a whole, I would like in 5 years from now to have a presence in a large part of the country, if not the entire country, and I would like Campione Law to be a household name. I mean, that would
Yeah.
be my dream, and to be able to bring the level of service that we bring to our clients now, to be able to do that at scale, that would be that's my goal, and we're working every day to tighten down, make the systems better, provide better service, more touch points across the board to get there. And I cannot close this without giving the praises to Integrity on the wonderful work that you guys do for my clients, for your clients. I mean, that is one of the most instrumental things when you're working a personal injury case, to be able to have um, connections or relationships with providers, um, one that are willing to treat these kind of clients, because there are a lot of strings attached that people don't realize. If you're treating
Yeah.
a personal injury client, you're probably going to get dragged into a deposition at some point.
Yeah.
Could get dragged into a trial at some point. You're
Yeah.
going to have people combing through your billing codes and everything else. That's not easy, and people don't realize what goes into actually being in this space to provide that service for clients, especially when they don't always have the, financial ability to pay for these things up.
Yeah.
So, I just wanted to give a shout out to you guys for doing what you do and trying to peel back a little bit on what actually goes in to providing that service. It's absolutely instrumental in what we do, having relationships with folks like you guys that do what you do. Uh,
Yeah.
and from
I
like
appreciate you saying that.
yeah, and looking across the market, obviously, because 'cause I'm familiar with a lot of providers, the the facilities that you guys have, the doctors that you guys have within your network are some of the best in the business.
You
So,
hear that, folks?
yes, if you're watching this and an attorney from either my firm or another firm somewhere around refers you guys to Integrity, you should
Thank
feel pretty
you.
good about that. The attorney is certainly looking out for your best interest, one, in the treatment, but also providing a partner that can help assist in the case.
Thank you. No, I really appreciate that. And we really see a lot of pride, especially in the, building that we have, that we completely redid in 2020. We wanted our office to not be like a typical like PI
Yeah.
office. You know what I mean? Like, even though it sounds so bad, but, our office, we really try to make it look more of like a, not a spa, as you'd say, but
Yeah.
it's really clean, modern, high end. And we wanted to make sure that the patient, even though all of the trauma and everything that they've gone through is, to know that they can come here and be treated, just like, everyone else would be
Yeah.
treated in that sense. But especially with our physicians and stuff like that too. But this market is such a niche market, especially for, the physicians that we have and
Mhm.
the clinic and how we treat and how we do things and build things around here, and even sometimes explaining that to friends when they're like, what do you do, and we explain it, they're like, yeah, no, I'm like, I get it, like it's a completely different world, completely different world.
But I would say too, I mean,
So
the reason you guys probably did that and built it that way and made the investment in the space is because you plan on being here, right?
yeah,
And a
exactly.
lot of people in this space, they're here for a minute, they're gone the next.
Yes.
So when you're
Yeah.
if you're someone out there looking for an attorney, looking for an orthopedic doctor, or really any kind of buddy in the medical space in the PI realm, those are the type of things you should look at.
So people that are here planning
Mm.
roots in Jacksonville, that's for
Yep,
sure.
yep.
All right, Chris, well, thank you so much, I really appreciate your time, and we'll talk soon.
All right, sounds good, Mackenzie.
All
We'll
right,
see you
see
later.
ya.